Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. Your decisions, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you. Well, hello there, good people. You know, every time I see that video, I think, what was I thinking? Why did I want to put myself out there? And why I didn't comb the back of my hair? That's what I was thinking. But, you know, I wanted to just show, what the real process of entrepreneurship looks like. It is not always all of this. It is what you saw realistically within the video. And, part of what we are doing within this space, the real journey of the entrepreneur, is really just showing that everyday folks like you, like me, like you and I together can do some wonderful things and create the life and the space that we want. Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur, where we are excited to host and have guests on who have the courage to share their journey with you, with me, with you, and with me. So I say that I have the best seat in the house because I get to sit and share experiences with entrepreneurs of all walks of life and from all backgrounds and experiences. And today is absolutely no different. My name is Anita Pierce, and I'm going to be peeking in just like you are. I am the business owner of 11375, which is a business consultancy, but you're not going to be learning much about me. We are going to be talking to who I consider a superstar in textiles. Now, I have zero knowledge about what all of that means. And that's why the things and the spaces that I don't know, you bring on the experts. So I don't want to keep you all waiting. So say hello to my guest, Kathleen Bennett. Hey, Kathleen.
Hi, Anita. How are you?
Not as good as you are. How are you?
I'm doing all right, surviving as usual.
I think we are doing more than surviving. I think honestly, every day that we are up gives us an opportunity to do more for ourselves and in turn doing more for others, sharing our gifts in this world.
That's true. We're thriving, not surviving.
That's right. So I want to jump in terms of just really understanding more about your business, because I know like myself, you are a full-time entrepreneur. Also, you are a mom, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Well, I'm the mother of 3 teenage girls, so that is a journey in itself. And I'm the owner of Floor 13 Textiles, and Floor 13 Textiles provides decorative fabrics to the hospitality industry. That is my quick elevator pitch, but what it really is is we have decorative fabrics, basically the upholstery and the drapery that you see in your hotel rooms. So we've supplied for the Atlantis and the Bahamas. We're actually doing the 4th stage of that project now. We've worked on Hiltons, sandals, beaches, all of that stuff with different upholstery and drapery fabrics.
So you're telling me that the places that you just mentioned, we will see your work, your design, your craft there.
You'll see my fabrics. Yep, we work with very talented interior designers that have amazing vision and take the materials that we provide them and make these fabulous over-the-top destinations.
Wow. That's phenomenal. Now, I'm going to deepen the question. What was your reasons for starting Floor 13 Textiles?
So I was traveling a lot. I was an executive for a few companies that basically supplied fabrics and at one point mirrors, furniture to the hotel industry. So that's basically what I did before doing it on my own. And I had these 3 amazing daughters at home who were, this is going back 10 years now. So they weren't teenagers, they were little. And I was flying all over the place. I was traveling 80% of the year. I knew airports inside and out, and I would, be almost Zooming with them before it was trendy. I don't even think it was Zoom. I don't remember what it was. Maybe I was just emailing them videos at the time, but I was like trying to connect with them somehow. And it was a bit crazy and I missed them. I felt like I was missing out being a mom. And when I would come home for the weekends, I would prepare all the food and do all the laundry before I was basically out the door again.
Wow.
So that all kind of coupled with me getting divorced and all of a sudden realizing that, I needed to be there full time. But I did love what I was doing. And it just kind of situations set itself into play for me to do this. And I just followed those situations. And it's been great because, I've had time for my kids, but I've managed to be a badass at the same time. So I kind of fulfilled both of, what my personality is in a way.
So I just want to salute that, number one, you acknowledge that you are a badass, right? Because sometimes, like, in this space of entrepreneurship, motherhood, we forget to acknowledge how dope we really are. Like we just do. So I was like, yes, to all of the, self-motivation. Because sometimes in this process, we don't always get the motivation as an entrepreneur. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it took me a long time. It took, like I said, I started this about 10 years ago, this business. And it's taken me just within the last few years to realize that I am a badass. I mean, there was a lot of moments, sitting on the sofa, going, what am I doing here? Like, this is crazy, orders aren't coming in, whatever, the roller coaster is just, and the kids are looking for stability, and how are you going to provide that stability? And I think our culture is so driven with stability over financial, but there's so many more factors into that. Whether it's for your kids, whether it's for yourself, and just, coming up, like, it's just been such an amazing, like, self journey. The being an entrepreneur, because all of these pillars have to come into play, whether it's the pillar of finance, you do need to make sure your company's making money. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But, you need to have certain other things kind of in play. And it's okay if you don't have it in the beginning. It's a journey, but you gotta build up those pillars, because the strength is, strength you get from all of this is unbelievable.
So entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
No, no. But, I studied fashion design when I was in college. And it's funny because, well, even going back to high school, somehow a teacher said to me, you know what, you're really good with computers. I got this friend that owns a construction business. Why don't you do bookkeeping for them? And I was like, I'm terrible in math, but okay, whatever. And I did that. And that led to another family friend, and very fortunate in this regard, but, it was like she worked on Park Avenue in a boutique mergers and acquisitions firm. And I was brought in as a fashion design major to just clean up their library. And I just got fascinated with all these articles from Forbes and all this other stuff, that by my senior year in college, I was studying business law, I was studying accounting, I was studying all of this. My friends were like, what are you doing? You're terrible at math. This isn't your thing. And I said, well, if I'm going to be a fashion designer and if I make it big, I'm going to need to know this stuff. Mm. And it's, I don't know. It's all kind of it's not for the faint of heart, but there's this journey. It's just crazy, how you don't even think of these things and it all comes together.
And the ability to be able to create things and see that, you wrote something on a vision board or in your phone or on a piece of paper, and then it could be years later or a month later, however you have the courage to execute, that you are seeing what was there written down and now it's actually happening. I usually cry a lot when stuff like that happens. And it's just like to your point about, really saying, hey girl, you got this, right? It's a mindset, and it's consistently reminding yourself that you are really a badass. So shout out to that. Always.
Always.
Always. So did you know early on that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
I didn't. I guess, like I said, my senior year in college, that's when everything started turning around. But still, even then, I didn't. I was growing up, I was the one picked on. I didn't have many friends, the whole kind of sad story there. But I had no confidence, nothing. And even when I started this, it was I felt like I could do it, but there's no entrepreneurs in my family.
Mm.
There's nobody telling me that this was possible or a possibility or anything. And I don't know. I think as I'm sitting here in this chair right now, it's actually kind of it's kind of dawning on me. When I started this thing, I did have support. I did have people saying you could do this, but it was so natural for them that it wasn't there wasn't a big you go girl moment, kind of whatever. It was just oh, show me what you got, and we'll sell this. We'll bring this stuff out into the world, So I didn't even I think I didn't know maybe until 3 years ago. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny, but everything that I did led me to being an entrepreneur. So I think I knew, but without knowing, even when I took those business law classes, when I was, in mergers and acquisitions, all throughout college. Like all of these things was just kind of like setting me on a path. And it was like, from the person that thought I could work at the construction company doing bookkeeping instead of, like I think there's a lot of people that saw it before I did.
And then it finally got around to you and believing in yourself and knowing that this is something that you can get done.
Yes. And just like, I don't know, that click where you kind of like, oh, people have been telling me I could do this. And maybe I knew I could do this, but I can do this. And it's just, yeah, it's like I said, it probably didn't click. I've been doing this for 10 years, but it probably didn't really like set in until like 3-4 years ago that like, you're owning your own business. Like this is happening. The sales keep going up, something's going on here and you're doing it right. It's, but there's, building of a company and everything, you get like into the muck of it. You know what I mean? You don't really realize that you're succeeding for a while.
So let's pause a bit, right? So you've been in business for 10 years. Let's clap that up, first of all, because what you don't recognize, what most people don't realize is that after like 3 years, sometimes businesses don't make it, right? There's some after the first year, after the second year. Kathleen's business has been thriving for 10 years. So let's first of all clap that up. We don't want to pass that by at all, because especially within this recent economy, right, through the pandemic, none of us want to revisit ever again in our lives, probably. So just a question about that, because again, you're still in business. What did that look like, during, we're still in the midst of the pandemic. However, but what did that look like in terms of some of the challenges that you experienced and when it first happened?
Well, it hit my company before it hit a lot of companies in the United States. A bunch of our fabrics do come from China. China started closing the ports, and business was still open here, but we weren't getting the goods in. And then once it came here, I supply fabrics to hotels. This is what I do. And, whether there's, ups and downs in the economy, which does affect the business, but there's always a constant cycle of a hotel changing its decor. Can't stay stagnant. It can't stay from the 70s. It always has to be current, whether their cycle is 4 years or 7 years, depending on the economy. But if nobody's staying in the hotels and the hotels aren't open, they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know how long this is going to be. They closed those purses. They went snap shut, and it was quiet. It was dead quiet for 2 years. It's now we're starting to trickle in. We're starting to get orders again. But, when I say like it started hitting me about 3-4 years ago that I was an entrepreneur, I was a business owner, like this is happening. My business was taken off, and, we got an office space 2019. So 2019, I got the office space. I got the warehouse. We started investing in inventory. We started investing in marketing. We were doing trade shows. Like it was finally happening. And we spent a lot of money in 2019 because I was getting ready for 2020.
Right.
And then, of course, March 2020, and I'm sitting in an office space with a warehouse and inventory going, oh my God, like I should have held on to that money. Like, what am I going to do now? So, I finally moved out of my home. This is like where I'm sitting now. This is my house, So we moved everything. I had an understanding landlord, moved everything back in the house. And, it just was this instinct of survival mode. It's like, what are you going to do? And, I managed to keep the business afloat. I found a furniture company to partner with that put us as part of their program. And that helped, the government with the PPP and the EIDL. And I consider myself the best grant hunter on the planet. I didn't even know about grants before COVID, so, and grants are out there, people look for them. They're like out there, like just Google them and apply and apply and apply. But, yeah, so now it was just 2 years of trying to figure out where the money is going to come from. But it was a reset for my business too, because I started this and it led me. So it was the company leading me instead of me leading the company. And the pandemic forced me to look at everything and to regroup and to figure out, Kathleen, what's your business? Right? And how do you want it to be? And let's take a step back. Now that we're not being reactive to everything,
Right.
we have the opportunity to reshape, reorganize, and figure out, once things start getting busy again, where is this going to go? So I'm thankful. Well, this is not going to come out right at all to say I was thankful for the pandemic. I'm not. It was horrible. We had loss in the family and everything, but that's personal. From a business perspective, it was a gift, because I really did get to sit back and figure things out and evaluate and evaluate and evaluate. And that was that was a vacation that I needed, the business needed. So now we're getting busy again and I'm starting to panic, but at least I got my ducks in a row now.
Right. And it's so interesting. And I understand what you mean, that it's, the pandemic served its purpose in certain areas, right? So I agree. It is still, we're still processing loss. We discovered, mental, how important our mental is.
Oh yeah.
Really cherishing loved ones, and reevaluating what's our priorities. And so I definitely hear you. And for a lot of business owners, myself included, that opportunity to really strategize what you want to do, I think we all needed to sit down a bit and just reset, retool, refigure out what our real gifts are, in terms of really putting it out in the world, because I think we were moving too fast.
We were moving too
We
fast.
were moving way too fast, to the point
Yeah.
where, we're not spending time where we need to and centering where we need to. So I agree with you about, coming out of this, a little bit more wiser, with a little bit more gratitude, and
Absolutely.
just knowing that, you're still here in this space and you have a few more years to grow your business a little bit more. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I know. There's like this whole meditation kind of Zen thing almost came out of it, because you had to figure out how to cope with what was going on. You had to figure out to cope with, the kids being home, the remote learning, the taking care of my elderly parents, who don't understand that they can't go to a restaurant, what I mean, like all of this stuff. And there was like, I did take up meditation during the whole thing, but there's also like this meditative process I found through all of this that needs to come out on the business end too, because I wasn't reflecting on a lot of things personally, but I wasn't also reflecting on a lot of things with the business. And that is a very strong component I believe I was missing before then that I have now.
And so we will transition, right, into, moving into more deepening our responsibilities as business owners. So I'm excited to learn about a couple of things, right? So you mentioned about, your success, right? How do you measure your personal success within your business?
I like, it goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier, where you got to have like these pillars. There's the financial pillar, but there's also like the family pillar, and there's also like the self-care pillar. And, it took me, I used to beat myself up. I was a runner. My foot is telling me otherwise. So I haven't been running these days. But when I started the business, I would go out. Once the kids were on the school bus, I go running every day. And I would listen to Audible, the business books. And, I got a lot of ideas for the business that way. But I felt so guilty. Right? Because I was like coming from corporate America, where you're at the desk for a certain amount of time each day. There's no running, listening to Audible. Right. And, I just like, people would be like, oh, there she goes, she's like, must be nice to live that life, all of this stuff. And I would feel guilty about carving out time for myself. And I realized that one of the things about running your own business is I'm not reporting to anybody. So if I want to go for a run and I want to listen to my Audible books because I think that it's going to make me a better person, that's what I'm going to do. And wow, look at this. I'm going to my kids' school events. I am, there are field days, there's soccer, the field hockey, the drama plays. I tell my kids all the time, my twins are 13 years old and they're in full-blown Mamma Mia rehearsal right now. And, I tell them, look, I know sometimes that things have been hard, but I've always been around. I've always been here. Need me to pick you up at school. You're not feeling well, all of this stuff. For the most part, 95, 99% of the time, I'm right there. And for me, that's success, because what am I doing? This is life. This is, I'm not working for somebody else's life. I'm working for my life, and my life is my kids. My life is being able to exercise. My life is being able to do what I want, when I want. For the most part, I don't ignore my business. I got the emails, I got the phone calls, I got all of that, but it makes me happy. That stuff makes me happy. It's my energy. So I think success is really just finding in what defines that for you. Like, what do you want out of life? Not what somebody else has, right? Not like what the business books tell you that success is. Because you know what? That business book is writing what success is for that person.
And so that, I mean, I, as I was listening to you, and I'm like, yep, it's the simple things in life. It's not, um, and we're in alignment. Simple things for me, right? So, I'm in business now. My daughter's 7, so I started the business when she was born, and it's a challenge. However, and because mine is still very little, and she is still in that attention's time span space. And I have to tell you, you brought up things that was so like we pick up, we can hang out, I can adjust, we're there. I know that she's safe. I know that she sees me. I've seen her walk. It's those little things that um you know, bring me joy. But on the flip side, knowing that, as we talked about earlier, being able to write something down and then like, put in the work, plant the seed, keep watering, keep watering, keep watering, and then it comes to pass and you're like, that was from that paper. And so, or
Right.
what was on the board or, what was on the phone or however you keep your reminders of self and goals. So yeah, I agree with you in terms of just defining what is successful for yourself. And yeah, I appreciate that. So I have more questions because now I'm like, super curious, more curious now. Um, if someone wanted to start, you know, being in the textiles business, right? Just in general, what would be a few realistic tips, like at least 3 realistic tips that you can offer for someone who is interested in um, going in your industry?
Um, don't, wow. See, it's crazy, my industry, because everybody that owns their own business in this industry, all the, leaders, they all, they all, I wouldn't say they all, this isn't right, but they all, I said all again,
Okay, you're fine.
most of them came from money
Mm,
or inherited the business. It was passed down to them. I'm the crazy lunatic that grew up in Yonkers, New York, and decided to do this with zero money in my pocket. you know, um, but that being said, like, if that's your passion, then it's your passion. Like, just go for it. Um, and whether it's textiles or anything, there's so many things out there that will give you help and guide you. I know that both of us are mentors for SCORE, which does help, entrepreneurs either starting out, or if you have a problem right now, you could call them up and there'll be somebody to walk you through it and talk you through it. But with the textile industry, it just came. I loved fabrics growing up. My mom had a sewing machine. We couldn't afford, clothes from the store. And back then it was cheaper to buy. I don't think it's the same anymore, but it's cheap. It was cheaper to buy fabrics and sew it yourself. I'm just aging myself now. Rather than go, there was no Walmart where there was importing, stuff from China, and, there was no access to fashion. Without spending a lot. So I was just drawn to going to the fabric store and trying to figure it all out and making stuff. So that was my passion. And so getting into textiles, transition from fashion design to interior design. I had no idea about the interior design industry until I stumbled into it. I mean, like, what? You have somebody decorate your house? Like, and the sofa costs what? You know what I mean? Like it's a whole other world, but it was always just, it was my passion. And it's funny how passion just guides you.
Mm.
And, you know, the door is just being passionate about something could open up so many different options and show you so many different things that you didn't even know about something you're passionate about. So, I mean, breaking into textiles, there's so many different ways, right? There's, you, like I said, fashion design, interior design. You know, I have some friend who imports textiles in from Africa and has a whole business around that with scarves and pillows and everything like that. You know, there's just so many ways to just take this thing that you could be passionate about, and what journey is that going to lead you on? You know, there's just, you know, you could be a textile designer, you could be it's just, you know, I partner with a company that employs women coming out of rehab. And, you know, they take our textiles and they make the most fabulous bags out of them. And they end the, you know, addiction cycle. And that's just another way to take something and just make it into, I feel like I like that because it's like a cross of two different passions. And, you know, it's just, yeah, you take something like textiles, there's so many journeys you could go down.
So essentially, you have to find what you're passionate about and go for it.
Go for it. There, if you're passionate about it, it gets infectious, right?
Mm.
Other people are, you know, are going to see, I see your passion, you know, that's why I'm sitting here doing this with you, you know, and it's infectious. Like you're infectious, you know, it's like, you know, it goes on to other people because you're passionate about it. And it just translates.
Into something beautiful and amazing, and helps us to create a livelihood because we're in business also to make impact, but also to help us live and pay bills as well.
Yes.
That's the reality. So
Big, bold, crazy adventure.
it has to be. And, fortunately for us, we love what we do because otherwise, I promise you, we wouldn't get up to do any of this if we wouldn't do.
Yeah, no, you know, totally. And it's just, if I'm going to love what I do, I'm going to profit from it.
Agreed. So agreed. So we are, believe it or not, we've come up to the end of our time. And, I'm not saying bye bye, but,
I know. We'll keep the journey going.
just temporarily. But before we part ways virtually, I want
Yeah.
to ask you some rapid fire one word with questions that require one word answers. So you ready?
Oh, Nita. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. All right.
What do you do in your downtime?
Workout.
What do you do in your spare time?
Food Network.
Pizzas or burgers?
Pizza.
Smoothies or ice cream?
Ice cream. Now I'm hungry.
Dancing or not?
Dancing.
Singing in a shower or not?
Not. Nobody wants to hear that.
That's why it's in the shower. We do it all the time because everyone sounds great.
I leave it for the car.
I know. In 3 years, what will change within the community that you're making impact on?
Oh, see, that you got easy ones, and that's a hard one.
Mm.
You know, outside of Floor 13 Textiles. Just my whole entrepreneur journey as a whole. I just want to build up other people. I want people to know that they can, and just a whole empowerment thing. You know, whether it's with SCORE, I'm a co-leader of the Girl Scouts, you know, all of this stuff is just, I think there's just so much that people have the ability to do.
And finally, what is the legacy that you want to leave to your family?
I want my 3 daughters to know that they can,
Mm.
and that, and they can fill in the blank. Whatever they want to do, that they can do it. And, you know, everything is possible.
And so this is why Kathleen was selected as Hudson Valley Women in Business 2018 honoree. We actually have two more common things in common besides being a mother, entrepreneurs. We also serve as advisors for Hudson Valley Women in Business. And so if you are looking for an amazing opportunity to connect with women who are doing business differently, check out Hudson Valley Women in Business. You will find myself and also Kathleen around somewhere sharing love and supporting other entrepreneurs as well. So Kathleen, where can we find you?
Floor13textiles.com. And then the Instagram is at Floor 13 Textiles. Same thing with Facebook. My 19-year-old daughter has taken over my social media, and I think she's doing a great job. So you'll kind of like see a little bit family action going on there.
And so guess what we don't do anymore? We're not always on social media, so we have to hire family and friends to take care of the stuff that we're just not that skilled in. Not that we don't know, right? It's just that we are doing other things to help grow and scale our business. So check us out, both myself and author Kathleen, through SCORE. We are SCORE mentors. It is a service that you can access for free. I also plug all the time that, you know, there are a lot of advantages, business advantages that you can take advantage of that is of no cost, specifically when you're first starting up. It is an opportunity for you to grow and scale your business. You have amazing business coaches that will support you all for free. And so while I am part of my business, I am a coach, but I even send folks who cannot afford my services through SCORE because they're still getting an amazing dope coach through SCORE. And it's not a problem because we've all been in that space where we need help at all points of our journey. So, Kathleen, thank you so much for
Thank you,
taking
Anita. This is fun.
out of your schedule. And I actually look forward to having you come back to provide, you know, just some updates, just to kind of check in, to let us know what you got going on next, and also where in the world we can find your textiles when we finally get to travel, because I haven't been anywhere except
I know.
driving around, but that's not
Yeah.
what I want to do anymore. So,
Sounds like a plan.
all right, my dear, thank you so much. Look forward to
Yeah,
seeing you, hugging you, like for real, and
I know.
what we gonna do? We gonna make it work. So,
We
thank
are.
you so much, Kathleen. I look forward
Yeah.
to seeing you again soon.
All right. Bye, beautiful.
Bye. So there you have it. I again told you I have the best seat in the world. And so if you are looking to connect with Kathleen again, this is her information. Don't hesitate to connect with other businesses. Just because someone is not in the same, space, that doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot collaborate and also share and exchange information. We're in different businesses, but we're business owners and we share, some of the same challenges as all. So don't be afraid. It is nothing wrong with going across industry to help to get support from a fellow entrepreneur. So, on that note, as Kathleen did mention, and I mentioned, we are both members of SCORE. Definitely take advantage of those services. And also, Kathleen reminded me about the importance of getting, resources, grants. Right now, there's one grant that I do know of that is New York City still has, opportunities for the small business resources. There's also LegalZoom had a couple of grant opportunities as well. And there are tons and tons of opportunities, but also, continue to think about what other ways that you can connect with other small businesses. As we both mentioned, we are advisors to Hudson Valley Women in Business, and it's just, again, another opportunity for you to collaborate and to connect with other small businesses, specifically if you are a woman-owned business. So, on that note, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day. If you are interested in any of the services that we offer at 11375, we're here all on the social platforms. And no, I'm not managing the social media. I have interns and team to manage that. So stay connected, stay in tune, and thank you so much for joining the Real Journey of the Entrepreneur.